This video is going to be all about talking to my younger self and the advice that I would want to know when I first got started. Now, this will hopefully relate to about 90% of you guys because I was once in your shoes and I figured out how to actually get out of that and become a profitable trader to this day. Now, I'm going to try and be brutally honest in this video because I feel like I'm talking to my younger self and this is exactly what he would want to hear. And the first one is realizing that you are the problem and not the strategy itself. A lot of people will start to switch up strategies, change their strategy a little bit, maybe even backtest. And there's nothing wrong with backtesting, but you gotta realize that you are the reason why your strategy is not profitable. The strategy itself is probably profitable, but there's something that you're doing wrong that is making it unprofitable, whether it's risk management, selling way too early or late, all about your executions, or you're not taking the best and leaving the rest. Now, that's not a strategy issue, it's a you issue, which leads me to my second thing is learning from your mistakes. I think mistakes are the most valuable thing when it comes to actually trading because you could figure out your weaknesses and hopefully turn them into strengths. A lot of people hate making mistakes and really kill themselves over making this mistake, and that's just not what you're supposed to do. It's supposed to be the opposite. If you make a mistake, then you should be celebrating that you found your weakness somewhere in your strategy for you, and now you could turn that into a strength. Now you figured out what you need to improve on. And that's why I love making mistakes, because if I make a mistake, then I know there's a weakness somewhere in my plan and I'm able to improve on that. Because if there's no mistakes, then you don't know how to improve. Which leads me to my third thing is don't tell anyone that you start to day trade. Nobody gets it until you actually make it trading. Everyone will talk you down. Not only with trading, but just starting a business, people will be like, oh yeah, have fun. And they'll fake support, but then in 2-3 months when it stops working, they're like, all right, like you shouldn't do this anymore. Stuff like this takes time. You're not gonna be profitable in 3 months. It took me almost 2 years to become profitable. And what do you think everyone said during those 2 years? I should stop, I should give up, I'm gambling, I'd have better odds at the casino. If I was in this for the wrong reason, those would get to me, but I wasn't. And I'll go over that next. But they will never give you the support that you need until after you're profitable. Then they'll ask you exactly how you did it, even though you already told them for those 2 years. Which leads me to my next thing. A lot of people are in here for the wrong reasons. Why 90% of people fail? If everyone was here for the right reasons, I would say a lot more people would succeed doing this. Now, like I said, in those 2 years, if I wasn't doing this for the right reasons, I would have gave up. Money is just a bonus when it comes to trading. It's literally about following a plan and sticking to it. Then you'll be rewarded for how well you can stick to your plan. Not only that, but I just love looking at these numbers on the chart. It might sound cliche, but you have to enjoy trading. Even without money. Like if there was no money on the line, would you genuinely enjoy what you're doing? A lot of people would probably say no. And you might be in it for the wrong reasons. Money's just a bonus. And that's exactly leading to my next thing is focus on your plan, focus on that skill that you're building, and the money will follow. Think about it. The same exact buttons that are used to make $100 in a market could make you $1,000 on that same exact trade, or $10,000, or $20,000. Because there's really no difference. You're clicking a button to buy, whether it's 1 contract or 100 contracts, and you're clicking that same button to sell, whether it's 1 contract or 100 contracts. Knowing that should motivate you enough to where if you're profitable with 1 contract, the scalability of this is there. Take it from me. Watch every single YouTube video that I ever posted with live trading. You could see that I'm clicking the same buttons that you would click. The problem is I know when to click and I know when not to click. And that leads me to my next thing is take the best and leave the rest. I don't know how many times I could say this, and I'm definitely coining this term, take the best and leave the rest. Why? What does that mean? That means I am only taking the best trades. Well, how do you know what the best trades are? Listen, if you've been in the market longer than 2 months, you should know if the market is doing this, right, and you lose almost every single time versus if the market does something like this, and it's doing something a little bit different, but you always make money when it does that, you should start to become aware. Us as humans, we could recognize patterns and not those ascending and descending triangles. Whatever patterns your mentor has or talks about, forget that. I'm talking about patterns that actually matter. When the market is slow and it's consolidating, and it sets up in a certain way where it's like it's not really moving, the volume's low, and you lose, you should be able to recognize a pattern here. Don't trade during those times. But if it's momentum's there, volume's there, it's looking really good because it just breaks out of every single level, looks very nice, you should be able to recognize a pattern showing that on days like those, that's when you should trade, and on days like these, you should not trade at all. That's the pattern that matters. Taking the best and leaving the rest. I didn't trade today. Why? Because it was slow. I recognized that the market's slow, the probability is low. Which leads me to my next thing is trading is all about probabilities. This is why we don't have a 100% win rate, and you have to understand that. Yes, you could understand that, but do you really fully understand that? And what do I mean by that? That means that you should be okay accepting a loss. You should be happy that you took the loss because you stuck to your plan, hopefully, and you only lost a certain amount that you put on your plan. Whether it's 5%, 10%, whatever it is, if I stick to my plan and I only lose a certain amount that was on my plan, or maybe it was less than what I usually put on my plan, like let's say I wanted to stop out at most 8%, I stopped out at 5%, I should be celebrating if I took the best and leave the rest. Now you might be wondering, well, if it was the best, how did I lose? Again, everything's a probability. Just because you have a 90% chance that the stock is going to go up, there's still that 10% chance. If I flip a coin and I have a 99% chance of living, or I have a 1% chance of dying, those are pretty good odds, but there's still that 1% chance of you dying. Same thing with trading. I have an 87, 90% win rate, and there's still a 10% chance that I'm going to lose. So knowing that, next time I lose, I know that's all about the plan, and that's the statistic that I'm at. That's part of trading, and it's about how you handle and manage those losses that will determine how profitable of a trader you are. And a lot of people can't accept these losses because they think in the back of their mind, oh yeah, you know, there's a probability, but I'm gonna win. No. You have to be okay with losing. Now, you have, let's say, a 90% win rate. You could statistically lose every single day this week. But if you manage it well, there shouldn't be a problem. Now, it might start to get to you a little bit, but if you prepare for stuff like this to where you're able to manage all your losses well and don't revenge trade and like really follow your plan, you know you'll come out victorious. I've had losing weeks before. Now, it doesn't really happen anymore, but when I did, I knew that, you know, potentially the next trade could be a winner, but every single trade is a different trade. You should not base your trades off the previous trades. If you think that because you lost 5 times in a row, the next trade should be a winner, and then you try and trade it like it's a winner even though you're supposed to stop out, there goes your 6th loss. And now what? Your 6th loss is bigger than a usual loss would have been because you're trying to hold it because you're like, there's no way this is not going to be a winner. But the market does not go based on if you traded and you lost or won previously. My next trade win rate is not determined by my previous trade. My next trade is determined by my win rate. Same thing with flipping a coin. Just because you flipped a coin 5 times and it was heads, that doesn't mean statistically the next trade or the next flip will be tails. You have a 50% chance of it being heads. It doesn't change based off your previous outcomes. And that's where a lot of people get it wrong with trading. They think that they're in a huge winning streak or a huge losing streak that they're like, you know what, I'm just bound for a loss. Don't think like that. Or you're bound for a win. Definitely don't think like that either. You could be cautious, especially on your winning streaks, because that's all psychology based. If we were robots, then none of this would matter. But we're humans. And, you know, a lot of people are like, leave out the emotions, leave out the emotions. I feel like you should be able to have the emotions, but react like a robot. Understand that us as humans, we have emotions, but how do we deal with that and react the same exact way a robot would, even when we have those emotions? Instead of hiding it, you should embrace it and act like a robot. I'm super hyped every time I, make a winning trade. Do I show it? Not always. Even if I do show it, that doesn't change when I click the button or when I sell. And it should never. Now, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys subscribe, leave a like, and comment down below. If you guys want to see more of this, let me know if you guys learned something and road to 10K.